Walk with me.
My heart is inditing a good matter. I speak of the things which I have made touching the king. My tongue is an open pen of a ready writer. Thou art fairer than the children of men. Grace, favor is poured into thy lips. Therefore God hath blessed thee forever. Gird thy sword upon thy thigh, O most mighty, with thy glory and thy majesty. In thy majesty ride purposely because of truth and meekness and righteousness, and thy right hand shall teach thee terrible things. Thine arrows are sharp in the heart of the king's enemy, whereby the people fall under thee. Thy throne, O God, is forever and ever. A scepter of thy kingdom is a right scepter. Yes, thou lovest righteousness and hated wickedness. Therefore God, thy God, hath anointed thee with the oil of gladness above thy fellows. All thy garments smell of myrrh and aloes and cassia, and out of the ivory palaces, whereby they have made thee glad. King's daughters were among the honorable women. Among thy right hand did stand the queen in gold of Ophir. Hearken, O daughter, and consider and incline thine ear. Forget also thine own people and thy father's house. So shall the king greatly desire thy beauty, for he is thy king, and worship thou him. And the father of Tyre and the daughter of Tyre shall be there with a gift. Even the rich among the people shall entreat thy favor. The king's daughter is glorious within, her clothing wrought of gold. She shall be brought unto the king in raiment, needlework of virgins. Her companions that follow her shall be brought unto thee. With gladness and rejoicing shall they be brought, and they shall enter into the king's palace. Instead of thy father shall thy children, whom thou mayest make princes in all the earth. I will make thy name to be remembered in all generations. Therefore shall the people praise thee forever and ever. Psalms chapter 45. Deliver me from the hands of evil spirits who have sway over the thoughts of men's hearts, and let them not lead me astray from thee, my God. Establish thou me and my seed forever, that we go not astray from henceforth and forevermore. Jubilees chapter 12 and verse 20. Yes, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, those of you on this platform and those shared platforms. We thank God for you, and you. And also with hand clap, we thank God for those of you that have been with us since the beginning, and those of you that have been with us thereafter and here and there's about. We thank God for you. And those of you that have just subscribed, we thank God for you too. And those of you that are about to subscribe, calling those things that are not as though they are. Yes, all praises to the Most High. Yes, even the Most High Yah, the I am. Yes, which is also Tata and Zambi in the SA language, and also Sanini Nanini in the Congo language. Tata and Zambi in the Congo language. Yes, Sanini Nanini in the South African language. And we thank God for you, and you. Yes, and we're in the book of Jasher, and yes, the book of Jasher. We ended at chapter 40. I've been reading through here. I missed my place some kind of way I did that. We're in chapter 41, to be correct. Chapter 41, and we ended at a verse here in chapter 41. Okay, and we ended with Joseph. Having a dream, and Joseph was loved by his father, the father of his old age. And we're going to start with verse 9. And Joseph was 17 years old, and he was still magnifying himself above his brethren, and thought of raising himself above them. Now, this is about, many of you already know the story, but this is about to be the transition from where the children of Jacob fought the Canaanites. But now it's going to be a time, they're getting ready to go into a time span where they have to be disciplined, and where the children of Jacob will actually multiply and have peace. But yet they're going to go back into war again after they have been tested and tried and strengthened and settled. Then they're being strengthened and established in the land of Canaan in that time. But we're going to start here. And Joseph was 17 years old, and he was still magnifying himself above his brethren and thought of raising himself above them. Now, a 17-year-old, it's a kid, okay, a kid. Especially among the men children, they're kids. I mean, he's gonna do crazy stuff. He's gonna jump up and down or whatever you want to call it, you know. But yet he's transitioning from a kid to a man in this part here. Now, verse 10, and at that time he dreamed a dream, and he came unto his brothers and told them his dream. And he said unto them, I dreamed a dream, and behold, we were all binding sheaves in the field, and my sheaf rose and placed itself upon the ground, and your sheaves surrounded it and bowed down to it. They did not know, neither did his father know what is this child saying? What is this young man saying? In verse 11, and his brethren answered him and said unto him, what meaneth this dream that thou didst dream? And dost thou imagine in thy heart to reign or rule over us? In other words, these were battle-hardened brothers he had. Brothers who have slew thousands and hundreds. I mean, even though with the help of the Most High still, blood was no stranger to them. Or shedding blood was no stranger to them, shedding blood in war to protect themselves. And they were used to avenge their own sister, Dinah. And he still came and told this thing to his father Jacob. And Jacob kissed Joseph when he heard these words from him. And Jacob blessed Joseph. You know, Joseph just looking at, this is my baby boy. Yeah, this is my baby boy right now. Mind you that Rachel is still living at this time. Leah had died. She had died. And when the sons of Jacob saw that their father had blessed Joseph and had kissed him, and that he loved him exceedingly, they became jealous of him and hated him the more. And after this, Joseph dreamed another dream and related the dream to his father in the presence of his brother. And Joseph said unto his father and brother, and behold, I have again dreamed a dream. And behold, the sun and the moon and the 11 stars bowed down to me. Sort of reminds you sort of the book of Revelation where they had the woman with the 12 stars. Now, it's something. But anyway, and his father heard the words of Joseph in his dream. And seeing that his brother hated Joseph on account of this matter, Jacob therefore rebuked Joseph. You don't know what you're talking about, boy. Before his brethren on account of this thing, saying, what meaneth this dream which thou hast dreamed, and this magnifying thyself before thy brethren who are older than thou art? Dost thou imagine in thy heart that I and thy mother and thy 11 brothers will come and bow down to thee, that thou speakest these things? And his brethren were jealous of him on account of his words and dreams, and they continued to hate him. And Jacob reserved the dreams in his heart. And the sons of Jacob went one day to feed their father's flock in Shechem, for they were still herdsmen in those days. See, they went back to war, they went back to taking care of sheep, back to war, taking care of sheep, back to see their granddaddy, even Isaac's. Now, these are some good young men, tell you the truth. I mean, would be a favorite of a father. I mean, a pride. Where they, feeding in Shechem, they delayed, and the time of gathering in the battle was past, and they had not arrived. And Jacob saw that his sons were delayed in Shechem, and Jacob said within himself, peradventure the people of Shechem have risen up to fight against him. Notice he was worried about that. Therefore they have delayed coming this day. And Jacob called Joseph his son and commanded him, saying, Behold, thy brethren are feeding in Shechem this day, and behold, they have not come back. Go now, therefore, and see where they are. See, they didn't have cell phones or telephones or nothing in that day, so they had to relay messages by a runner. Maybe a bird, or whatever. But either way, now go therefore and see where they are, and bring me word back concerning the wherefore of thy brethren and the wherefore of thy flock, of the flock. And Jacob sent his son Joseph to the valley of Hebron. And Joseph came for his brothers to Shechem and could not find them. And Joseph went about the field which was near Shechem to see where his brothers had turned. And he missed his road. This is God. Some of us, we entertain angels underwear. They appear as regular people. Look just like, from your skin, you can touch them, they'll eat and everything. You don't know who you're dealing with when you meet a stranger. You don't know where they come from. But basically, the messengers of the Most High appear as men. That's one clue. There's no way they appeared as a woman, except in one vision that one prophet had. There was a woman, he says, or the translator says. But either way, and Jacob sent his son Joseph to the valley of Hebron. And he knew not which way he should go. I'm at the bottom of that. And verse 22, and the angel of the I Am found him wandering in the road toward the field. In other words, we got to take this boy and direct him the right way, because something ain't right here. And Joseph said to the angel of the I Am, I seek my brethren. Now also in the book of Tobit, there was an angel that walked with the son of Tobit. We'll get into that when we cross that road. See, you entertain angels underwear. You understand the New Testament get a lot of things from the Old and these books that we read. And the I Am said unto Joseph, I saw thy brethren feeding here, and I heard them saying they would go to feed in Dothan. Not Dothan, Alabama, please, thank you. And Joseph hearkened to the voice of the angel of the I Am. And he went to his brethren in Dothan, and he found them in Dothan feeding the flock. Now, all this is set up by the Most High because he has a plan. Sometimes you think you're hurt, and your flesh is nothing to God. He knows how much pain and how much you can take, and he knows what he has to do to protect you. And he will not mention himself. See, this is the trick of when they talk about, the Holy Spirit will not. God is holy. God is a spirit. Many times God will not mention himself, but you will know God by the things that he does. Even he will do things according to his word, his statutes, commandments, laws, and ordinances. That's the way God works. He's not going to walk out of those things. Now, he went to his brethren in Dothan, and he found them in Dothan feeding the flock. And Joseph advanced to his brethren, and before he had come nigh to them, they had resolved to slay him. They was talking about him. While they were sitting around the campfire, they began to talk about him. 25, and Simeon said to his brother, Behold, the man of dreams is coming unto us this day. And now, therefore, come, let us kill him and cast him. Now, Simeon was ruthless. And cast him in one of the pits that are in the wilderness. And when his father shall seek him from us, we will slay an evil beast. We will say an evil beast has devoured him. And Reuben, I believe that was the firstborn from Leah, who had defiled his mother's bed, heard the words of his father's bed, heard the words of his brethren concerning Joseph, and he said unto him, You should not do this thing. For how can we look up to our father Jacob, cast him into this pit to die there, but stretch not forth thy hand upon him to spill his blood? And Reuben said this in order to deliver him from their hand, to bring him back to his father. And when Joseph came to his brethren, he sat before them, and they arose upon him and seized him and smote him to earth and stripped the coat of many colors which he had on. Verse 28. And they took him and cast him into a pit, and in the pit there was no water, but serpents and scorpions. And Joseph was afraid of the serpents and scorpions that they were in the pit. And Joseph cried out with a loud voice, and the I am hid the serpents and scorpions in the sides of the pit, and they did no harm unto Joseph. See how marvelous the Most High is. He just, let me move these out this way, because I got something better. These things are not going to kill this child, which is a part of my plan. Now, 29, and Joseph called out from the pit to his brethren and said unto him, what have I done unto you? In that what have I sinned? Why do you not fear the I am concerning me? Am I not of your bones and flesh? And is not Jacob your father my father? Why do you do this thing unto me this day, and how will you be able to look up to our father? In other words, these children, these young men, these valiant young men, understood that it was about the male in many things. Everybody had their work to do. You know, some women would get upset and start ranting and puffing and huffing and all this stuff, but this is just what it is. The animals accept it wholeheartedly. But you get to the children of Judah, the ass knows his honor. But my children, they don't know me. It's God saying, I've appointed you unto certain things, male for certain things, female for certain things. You already know what it is. Why are you fronting and doing all this other stuff, and you're lending your uterus and your seed unto other nations when you should be building your own? Sometimes I agree with what Tina Turner said. What love got to do with it? You just got to have a plan. As far as what are your goals? Why do you want to have children? Why? For what? For whom? Why? Children are not the result of love. Children are the result of purpose. And many of us miss that purpose. That love comes and goes, ins and out. The love is temporary, but commitment to the things of the Most High, commitment to the goals of two people, commitment. When you find that, then you got something. Whether you poor or whatever, I mean, it doesn't matter. I've seen a couple before that was poor, and the woman followed, the woman was with the man, and they didn't have a dime. They were on the street. But she stuck with this man, and this man stuck with her. What happened to that couple, I don't know. But either way. And Joseph called out from the pit to his brothers and said unto him, what have I done to you, and what have I sinned? Why do you not fear the I am concerning me? Am I not of your bones and flesh? Is not Jacob our father my father? Why do you do this thing unto me this day, and how will you be able to look up to our father Jacob? You know, he had a valid point here. And he continued to cry out and call unto his brethren from the pit. I mean, you in a pit, you're going to keep talking. I mean, you're going to leave me here to die? I'm going to keep talking. And he said, O Judah, Simeon, and Levi. These are valiant men now. My brethren, lift me up out from the place of this darkness in which you have placed me, and come this day to have compassion on me. You children of the I am, the sons of Jacob my father. And if I have sinned unto you, and you are not sons of Abraham, are you not sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, or Jacob? If they saw an orphan and they had compassion over him, or one that was hungry and they gave him bread to eat, or one that was thirsty and they gave him water to drink, or one that was naked, they covered him with garments. And this is true of Isaac and their father Abraham. This is why he had won so much favor with the Canaanites until the day they arrived, and Shechem decided he wanted to do what he wanted to do. That's Sister Dinah. And how then will you withhold your pity from your brother? For I am of your flesh and bones. In other words, why are you going to kill each other, those of you of Jacob? I'm not talking about just black folk. I'm talking about Jacob. You want to demise each other. You want to put each other down. You want to get jealous of each other. You want to sit up there and you hate each other to advance or be above you or whatever. It's instead of rejoicing and pushing that person forward. You lack wisdom, lacking wisdom. I digress. And how then will you withhold your pity from your brother? For I am of your flesh and bones. If I have sinned unto you, surely you will do this on account of my father, as he exclaimed. And Joseph spoke these words from the pit, and his brethren could not listen to him, nor incline their ears to the words of Joseph. And Joseph was crying and weeping in the pit. And Joseph said, oh, that my father knew this day the act which my brothers have done unto me, and the words which they have this day spoken unto me. And all his brethren heard his cries and weeping in the pit. And his brethren went and removed themselves from the pit, so that they might not hear the cries of Joseph and his weeping in the pit. Chapter 42. And when they sat on the opposite side about the distance of a bow shot, that was quite a ways. And they sat there to eat bread. See, Joseph should have already known that, or Joseph, or whatever you say, that the Most High had moved all the scorpions and he could not see them. He hid them all. He put them somewhere in the dirt somewhere until Joseph was removed. Now, and while as they were eating, they held counsel together what was to be done with him, and whether to slay him or to bring him back to his father. And they were holding the counsel when they lifted up their eyes and saw, and behold, there was a company of Ishmaelites. And this is where you get the conflicting versions of Ishmaelites and we'll get to it. Ishmaelites. They saw the Ishmaelites coming. And coming at a distance by the road of Gilead, going down to Egypt. And Judah said unto them, what gain will it be to us if we slay our brother? Peradventure, God will require him from us. Now, this is Judah. Judah is really showing wisdom, and, he's showing, responsibility toward the Most High. God will require him from us. And this then is the counsel proposed concerning him, which you shall do unto him. Behold, this company of Ishmaelites going down to Egypt. Now, we have to realize that there's also mountains when you go up toward Jerusalem, and then you're going to go down, for it's surrounded by mountains. That can be also. Now, therefore, come, let us dispose of him, and let not our hand be upon him, and they will lead him along with him, and he will be lost among the people of the land. And we will not put him to death with our own hands. And the proposal pleased his brother, and he did according to the word of Judah. Wisdom, okay. Judah was a very valiant fighter. A man have not been taught all these skills, but they just came. Maybe him and his brother fought and done things. And you know how boys wrestle against each other and all this, and they learned how to fight by just dealing with each other. And also they had their fathers with them also. I'm talking about Eber, and they had Isaac. And whilst they were discoursing about this matter before the company of Ishmaelites had come up to them, 7 trading men of Midian passed by them. Now, some of these translations would say Midian. Some say the Ishmaelites, but it's both really. They were about to give them to the Ishmaelites, and some translations stopped there. But then some translations says they gave them to the Midians. Now, come up to them, 7 trading men of Midian passed by them. As they passed by, they were thirsty, and they lifted up their eyes and saw the pit in which Joseph was immersed. And they looked, and behold, every species of bird was upon him. They were upon Joseph. And these Midianites ran to the pit to drink water, for this is the work of the Most High. For they thought that it contained water. And on coming before the pit, they heard the voice of Joseph crying and weeping in the pit. And they took down into the pit, and they saw, and behold, there was a youth of comely appearance and well favored. In other words, this would be a good servant in the house of one of the officials of Egypt. I mean, he's not hideous to look on. He looks like a well-fed, healthy young man. And they called unto him and said, Who art thou? Who brought thee hither? And who placed thee in this pit in the wilderness? And they all assisted to raise up Joseph. And they drew him out and brought him up from the pit and took him and went away on their journey and passed by his brethren. And these said unto him, Why do you this to take our servant from us and to go away? Surely we placed this youth in the pit because he rebelled against us. And you come and bring him up and lead him away. Now give us back our servant. These young men are something else. And the Midianites answered and said unto the sons of Jacob, Is this your servant, or does this man attend you? Peradventure, or perhaps you are all his servants, for he is more comely and well favored than any of you. In other words, this boy look better than all y'all. And why do y'all speak falsely unto us? Now therefore we will not listen to your words, nor attend to you, for we found the youth in the pit in the wilderness, and we took him, and we will therefore go on. And all the sons of Jacob approached them and rose up to them and gave and said unto them, Give us back our servant. And why will you all die by the edge of the sword? And the Midianites cried out against them, and they drew their swords and approached to fight with the sons of Jacob. And behold, Simeon rose up from his seat against them and sprang up on the ground and drew his sword and approached the Midianites. And he gave a terrible shout before him, so that this shouting was heard at a distance. Now, apparently, Simeon knew how to do what Judah did, knew how to shout, a certain shout that they had. And was heard at a distance, and the earth shook, and Simeon's shouting, this is just a description of how loud it was. The earth shook. It was just how loud his voice was. And the Midians were terrified on account of Simeon and the noise of his shouting, just like a lion. And they fell upon their faces and were exceedingly alarmed. And Simeon said unto them, Verily, I am Simeon, son of Jacob, the Hebrew, who have only with my brother destroyed the city of Shechem and the cities of the Amorites, so that God, moreover, do unto me, that if all your brethren, the people of Midian, and also the kings of Canaan, were to come with you, they could not fight against me. And now give us back the youth from whom thou takest, and I will, lest I give your flesh to the birds of the skies and the beasts of the earth. And the Midianites were more afraid, and they approached the sons of Jacob with terror and fright, and with pathetic words, saying, Surely you have said the young man is your servant, and he rebelled against you. Therefore you place him in the pit. And what then will you do with a servant who rebels against his master? How therefore sell him unto us? In other words, now they're forcing a sale here. And we will give you all that you require of him. And the I Am was pleased to do this in this order, that the sons of Jacob should not slay their brother. And with that, we're going to say, until next time, we're going to begin with verse 19. Peace.